We are getting into it, going into each separate section of the LTR drumming method so you can see what sets this apart from other drumming systems out there. And through decades of doing this and working with hundreds of drummers around the world, I've seen this shine, just make people's inner light shine through the drums and in life. And you really need all those parts to complement all the other parts in this holistic system to unlock everything that's in you that wants to come out through the drums. So you feel amazing. You emit a rock star aura behind the drums in all you do. And what's most important is we have fun. This is an amazing instrument. It's challenging, but you feel amazing doing this and just celebrating your milestones. And it's so awesome. So I'm glad to be on this journey with you. So let's get into it. This is the second area. And we've been through ethos, and this is your character, your inner purpose, and your vision, and your confidence all coming out, setting you apart, what makes you different, and believing in yourself. So check out the past video on that. We're going to get into flow right now, one of my favorite areas and one that so many drummers struggle with. So let's get deep into flow. Now, if you can imagine being behind the drum set and floating around the drums, floating around this instrument. We call it in the LTR drumming method the martial arts of drumming. How you move is how you groove. How you move is how you sound. So our movements create our sounds. Tense, stiff, constricted motions creates a tense, stiff, constricted sound. And so much of this is counterintuitive on the drums, because if you can imagine, we're picking up wooden sticks, right? And we're sitting behind the drums, and you're going to be striking all these objects in front of you and moving your feet on pedals. So the dichotomy is there's actually no hitting, even though we think that at first. That's what I thought, right? You got all this stuff in front of you. You've seen other drummers moving like, you're like, okay, here I go. And then you might be puzzled, like, why am I not getting a sound? Why is this not feeling good? And why am I like breaking my gear? And that's the kind of yin yang of drumming, which is almost like hard to see at first, is that we're pulling the sound out of the instrument. There's a lightness to it, and like you're floating, and an effortlessness that has to be there, which ironically gives you 10 times and even 100 times the amount of power that you would get if you're just driving into the drums. And this took me a long time to get. And if you're not there yet, don't worry. You're in really good company. Drummers like Max Weinberg, Neil Peart, even John Bonham at first, like so many drummers at first started the kind of hitting, and later they realized, oh, the power is in the relaxing. The real power is in the effortlessness. So all this we call flow. So let's go through the 5 areas here. So first off, we call effortless technique. Now, technique is how you do something. That's all it is. There's so much overwhelming material out there in the world on technique this, and I want to improve my technique, and I got to get my double bass technique. Technique is simply how you do something. So we get into our position with the sticks and how our body is, and everything that goes into that. That is a big part of the LTR drumming method. We need to have that effortless technique where we just don't think about it. And that's the amazing counterintuitive thing with technique, is once you get it, it just happens. But you have to earn it. You have to sometimes undo those bad habits, which I'm going to take you through. But once you get there, it just happens. You float around the kit. You play with a lightness, and then you'll be amazed because the power you're playing with and your sense of groove just goes through the roof. Very powerful to have that. And I'm sure all the drummers that you love, you can see them emitting this as well. What's overlooked so much in drumming is the feet and the balance. So I remember my teacher telling me to take some tap dancing lessons just to feel the way your feet are grounded to the earth. And instead of feeling drumming from the hands down, which is what's traditionally taught in all the institutional, classical, traditional lessons that ruin so many drummers, we get the rudiments and the hand and the pad, and we're kind of stuck there, and there's nothing wrong with practice pads and rudiments. I love them, and that's a part of this system too. We take you there. But we need to feel drumming from the feet up, the ground up, instead of the hands down. And it's a mental approach, it's a feeling switch. But once you make that transformation, you just feel grounded and balanced, and it comes from the center. And all dance is based off this. All martial arts is based off this. It's from the core center of balance. Ergonomic setup is we relook at your setup. Sometimes we tear it apart and we rebuild it. So the drum set is an extension of you. You become the instrument and the drums just catch your movement. It's a very different way of thinking about it, but it's so amazing once you get there. And it's like a true ergonomic setup, it becomes an extension of your body, like a fine tailored suit or dress that's just contoured exactly to you, and it wouldn't fit anybody else. And it's just such a joy to sit behind an instrument like that. Breath work. Take a deep breath with me right now through the nose. Hold it. Slowly let it out. Let's actually do one more. Slow inhale through the nose. Hold. Slowly let it out. So we say your breath is, how do you feel, by the way? I feel zenned out and ready to drum and calm in the chaos. And we say in the LTR drumming method that your breath is your best friend. Drums is high pressure, right? Everybody's staring, everybody's looking at you. If you're playing with music, you've got to hold everything together. It's kind of a high pressure situation. So Navy SEALs and anybody working in a high pressure job or mission or scenario, breathing is going to be what holds you together. And it's so overlooked in drumming, where how do you breathe when you're going for a fill, or when you're counting off a song, or to get through an hour and a half set. We are athletes. You're an athlete of life, and you're an athlete behind the drums. And we're going to take a pro athlete mentality and what we call the pro athlete protocols and bring them into our drumming and our life. So breath work is a part of that. And this will also help you with stress and how you handle pressure, and just give you more energy and just a feeling of passion and vitality in your health that may be missing. And the last is flow states. And if you've ever had an experience where you feel at your best, you're performing at your best, time drifts away where an hour can pass in a minute. Maybe it's a conversation you had, maybe you're cooking, maybe you're gardening, maybe you're going for a run, maybe you're just doing something you love. If you've ever had that feeling, this is what's called dropping into a flow state. And I believe that this is what people love about drumming. I've heard this hundreds and hundreds of times from drummers all around the world. I've experienced it myself, where it's like, wow, I was drumming. I don't know what happened, but I went to the zone. So athletes call this going to the zone. Everything's clicking. Everything's just it feels amazing, and it's addictive. And it's what we love about drums, or just doing those things we love. And the anti-flow state is when our inner critic is just going crazy. You're stuck in your head. You're stuck in your own thoughts. And you can't get out of it, and you're just not having fun, nothing's clicking, and you're stuck in a fear state. And that'll make you quit. Just drumming becomes a chore, you're not gonna have any fun, you're gonna hate it. And I've helped a lot of students, that they love drums and they want to perform and they want to achieve their goals, but they're just stuck. They like can't get into that. And man, getting into flow is the best with drumming or whatever you do. So that's flow, and we take you there. It's a big part of the LTR drumming method, and we'll go into the other two areas. But let's take your technique and your flow states to an effortless place of relaxed intensity.